Hello. No, it's been a while. I've been busy, but I'm back. But let's get straight into it. This is my 2019-2020 Premier League predictions. So let's go. So this is being filmed. This is gonna be filmed just it's This is filmed just after the transfer window, but just before the first match day fixture. But it probably won't be going out till afterwards, the first match day fixture. But let's go straight in. So let's start with 20th. 20th, I think a lot of people are probably going to think this, but I'm going to go for Sheffield United. They obviously weren't the strongest when they got promoted with their team. Their team weren't the best fit. But then the signings they've made, they're all like championship players, like McBurney, can he do it in a top flight for 20 million as well? That's quite a lot. Callum Robinson, like he's a decent player, but only played in the championship. So I don't think they're going to be strong enough compared to some of the other teams. But obviously, they stay up. But I think they're going to be bottom. In 19th place, I think I'm going to go with Norwich City. Now, a lot of people think Norwich are going to do better, but realistically, they spent 1.1 million in the whole window. I understand the whole keeping the same team when you come up, but I feel like they needed to make more than just that. Like, they haven't really made the team a Premier League standard team. They were good in the Championship, and I think they could do decent against some of the littler teams, but like the big sides are going to thrash them. They just haven't got strength in depth as well, so it's pretty similar with Sheffield United. I feel like they play good football and they're a good side, but they just ain't got the squad yet. In 18th place, this is a tricky one because there's a few teams like you've got your Brighton, your Burnley, Aston Villa, Newcastle, but I think I'm gonna go for Newcastle. Obviously, they got rid of Rafa Benitez, which is pretty stupid, and they replaced him with Steve Bruce, which is nowhere near good enough replacement. Like, that is ridiculous, really. They signed that Joelinton. If he can score the goals, then that could probably keep them up. But they also just don't have the squad, and the manager just doesn't play positive football. It's just I feel like it's new, and without Benitez, I don't see them staying up. Really, they haven't got the like I said. If Joelinton goes, then starts scoring, then it's going to be good. But if he doesn't, then I think they'll go down. In 17th, I think this one will be Brighton. They've also changed their manager. Chris Hughton kept them up through year and year. Graham Potter never done it in top flight, and they're similar to the Sheffield United situation. They've only bought from the Championship. Really, they got Adam Webster, Mapai, but I think that Mapai is the one who can keep them up here. Like same with Joelinton, but Mapai's done it in England. I know it's the Championship, but he's done it in England. Joelinton's been in Germany, so I think Mapai's goals are going to keep Brighton up, but they're really because Graham Potter plays negative football as well. No, he plays quite positive. Sorry, Chris Hughton. They're so used to the negative football. A change in style could be their downfall, but I think Mapai will keep them up. In 16th place, I'm gonna go for. It's also a bit of a. I'm gonna go for Aston Villa. Like, their signings they've made are pretty good, but is it too many signings? Like, Tyrone Mings is a good signing because they know what he's like. That Wesley's a good striker in the Belgium league, though. If he starts goes off flying, then he could be good. But if he doesn't score, then that could be a real problem for them because they just signings are good. Tom Heaton's their best signing without doubt. I think that's what will keep him up. Tom Heaton being in goal. He's got so much experience here that he could easily just him alone will keep them up. But I think they'll be 16 just because of how many signings they've made. But next year, I think they'll improve if they do stay up. 15th place, I think this one's going to be Crystal Palace. So now, I'm a Crystal Palace supporter, as you might know, but Palace haven't strengthened at all. We lost Wan-Bissaka for 50 million, don't get me wrong, but then we didn't spend the money enough. We brought in James McArthur. Camarassa's a good signing. He was good for Cardiff last year, but that's only a loan. That's not even a permanent. And then we just ain't got a striker, really. Like, I know Connor Wickham can score a few goals, but Benteke can't really score. Well, we got Jordan Ayew on permanent, but it's Jordan Ayew. He gets relegated most years. Zaha wants to go. If we kept Zaha, I think that's what will keep us up. But without Zaha, I think we would have gone down. But Zaha can win us points anywhere. 14th place. See, this bit of the table was pretty pointless. Like the 14th to like 11th, really, because you just don't really have anything to play for. But I think Southampton will do it. That Hasselhoffel, I think that's how you say it. He's finally got his first transfer window. They made that Che Adams. I know I've been saying like people buying in Championship, but Che Adams, if he scored 22 goals last year, which is a big amount of goals, because the Championship ain't an easy division to play in. So if he scores, that'll be a real benefit for them. But they've been teetering for most of the season, well, most other seasons. So I just think it'll, I think Hasselhoff will keep him up just because he now can do his style of football, how he wants to play. He's got some of the signings he wants. In 13th place, I think this one will be Burnley. Sean Dyche is a good manager if you want to stay up. If you want any more than that, really, then I don't think you do it. But I think Burnley, Jay Rodriguez, he looks good from pre-season. And then their strike force is good. Peter Crouch, I know, is gone, but he won't going to really score the goals anymore. They lost Tom Heaton, but then Joe Hart can be a good keeper, and Nick Pope can be a good keeper as well. So they still got their defenders. They got Tarkowski, even though he was linked with a move to Leicester, I'm pretty sure. So I think Burnley's the one to literally just get they'll get mid-table mediocrity. In 12th place, I'm going to go for Watford. Watford, I think the thing what would damage them is the FA Cup final loss. If they play the way they did that day, they'll be absolutely crap. But I think that is the make or break. That could either really badly affect them or not. But then Javi Garcia done well with them last year, but will he stay on? Because you know how Watford like to get rid of managers. He's been able to bring players in. He wants to get rid of players he wants. He's still got Troy Deeney, still got Doucouré, still got all the Ben Foster, who was good for them last year. They've got all the players they needed what was successful last year. But I think Watford will be very happy with 12th place. In 11th, going to go for Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth, Eddie Howe's a very good manager as well. He knows his team inside out. He's got all the players he wants now. And he's been improving. I know he's got that Lloyd Kelly and who was it? There was someone else, 2 boys from the Championship. But Eddie Howe's a manager that will train them into how he wants them to play. In 10th, I'm going to go for Wolves. The thing I think everyone has said this, Wolves, what will keep them down, make them struggle this year will be the Europa League. Look at Burnley when they got into the Europa League, they did struggle with it quite heavily. But I think Wolves' squad is still good enough to get to a top half finish. But the Europa League will make them not have as good of a season as they did last year. In 9th place, I'm going to go for West Ham United. Their signings have been very good. Pellegrini is a great manager. I think Haller scores, they can even go higher than 9th. That Fornals, if he gets the assists and scores as well, they'll definitely be higher than ninth. They could even go up to maybe like the top 6. I know it pains me to say it, but I think ninth is very respectable. In 8th place, I'm going to go for Leicester. Brendan Rodgers finally he's had his transfer window to improve his squad that he wants, get the players to play how he wants in the pre-season and stuff like this. But they lost Harry Maguire and they didn't replace him, which is a big, big loss for them. But they got that Justin from Luton, who's quite a good signing. But I think the Harry Maguire loss will stop them from getting into that top 7. I think that is what will be the difference maker. In 7th, talking about 7th, that's going to be Everton. Obviously, wanted to sign Zaha, didn't get him, but then they were able to get Iwobi anyway for 40 million, I know. But Iwobi is better than Mkhitaryan. And if Arsenal sold Mkhitaryan, then they would be a much better squad than they actually are. But they signed the players they wanted. They got what they wanted in the end. They signed like good players for a good amount of money. Spent a lot of money, but I know people are going to maybe say it's similar to the Aston Villa situation. But Villa was a brand new squad going up. Everton know the division. They could do well. They got Moise Keane. If he could be maybe the next new Lukaku, what they've been looking for. So hopefully I think Everton will get 7th. I think typical Everton position really. In 6th, it's going to be Chelsea. I think Chelsea will finish 6th due to no transfer. Obviously, they had no transfer window. They were banned. But they signed Kovacic somehow. But then they lost David Luiz, which is a key defender, because now they're going to have to play Zuma and Christensen, who are inexperienced in the division, really, especially together. They've lost Hazard, who's a make or break for them. The loss of Hazard will get them to 6th, but with Frank Lampard being a new manager, I don't think it's going to be too much pressure for him to do well. I think he can avoid it this year on becoming 6th, and then next year with his signings and all this, he'll have to get top 4 to get a chance of staying with that club. In 5th, I think Man United. It's between United and Arsenal, but you'll find out where I'm going to put Arsenal in a second. But United, I think, will come 5th. They just, like, Martial and Rashford are good attackers, but Pogba don't really want to be there. I know he'll perform anyway, but they haven't got a creative midfielder. If Pogba gets injured, they've got McTominay, Fred. They ain't even got Herrera anymore. They let Herrera go on for free, which was stupid. I know they've improved the defence massively with Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka gets injured though. Who are they going to play right back? Well, they got Dalot, who's a decent player, but Wan-Bissaka's experienced in the division. He's had a year in the division now, or a year and a half. Harry Maguire's a good defender, but if he goes, then who they're going to have? They're going to have to play Phil Jones and Chris Smalling, so I think 5th is respectable. I think next year they'll be able to get top 4. In 4th place, I think Arsenal are going to get it. Even though they said they only had 40 million to spend, they've got Nicolas Pepe. If he could be a very good signing for them, but 73 million's a big hit. But then you've got to spend money to be able to be good in this division now, really. They got David Luiz, which was a very good signing, because now David Luiz, Socrates, or even one of them with Holding or Chambers, which would be good. Which is good. They got rid of Jenkinson, who was probably just freeing up doing the wages up, so it's freed up some wages and stuff now. They lost to Iwobi, which is a bad miss for them, when Mkhitaryan's still at the club. And Ozil, I think Iwobi obviously had more potential than what they've got offering now. But Kieran Tierney, good left back, better than Kolasinac, but he's injured at the moment, which could play into it. They've kept Aubameyang and Lacazette, which is good. So I think Arsenal will be very happy with 4th. I think the David Luiz signing maybe just pushed them over Man United, just because, especially with the manager, Emery's had a year now in there, and United have still got Solskjaer's pretty new still. 3rd, I think it's going to be Tottenham. They got in Ndombele, that Jack Clark, but he went back out on loan. They signed a couple of other people, which they're all pretty good signings for Tottenham. They needed to sign some players for them to be challenging again, but I think the top two teams, are obviously Man United and Liverpool, or Man City and Liverpool, sorry, are just better than what Tottenham are offering now. They kept Vertonghen and Alderweireld, which is pretty good. So I think third is respectable for Tottenham. They'll be happy with that. If they drop any lower than that, I think it's a pretty disappointing season for them. And they kept Harry Kane, which is a big, big key. Now in second, who do I think is going to be second? I think it's going to be Liverpool. And then obviously Man City is going to be top. I think Liverpool, they needed to make a few signings. They like Adrian's good replacement goalkeeper. They sold Mignolet, which is pretty good for them. But then they signed like a 19-year-old and like a 16-year-old or something. It's just not. It's if they want to push for the title. I know Klopp said like, "Oh, I don't have to make signing for signing's sake," but they could have done with one more creative midfielder and just maybe just one big signing could have really made Man City. Because look how close they got last year, and I don't think it'll be that close this year. I think it'll be a couple of points, and I don't think they'll both get as many points they did last year. Liverpool are on a high from winning the Champions League, but they really want this Premier League, and I just don't think this will be the year. So Man City, top of the table, third year in a row. They'll be the teams that equal it, like the record of how many Premier Leagues in a row. The squad's just too good. You've got Sterling, who it looks like he might be using as a striker, but then he's got Aguero and Gabriel Jesus now. It's just like they signed Rodri to replace Fernandinho. Well, yeah, to kind of replace Fernandinho. Fernandinho is one of their key midfielders. So if Rodri can be as good as Fernandinho, then they're sorted, Man City. And then they've got João Cancelo and got rid of Danilo. So they've got depth for what's the word I'm looking like? They're trying to get Walker to be pushed for competition. Got competition for Walker now, which Walker's really needed because Danilo just weren't offering anything. They sold Delph to Everton, which could have. He played quite a few games from last year, but then they signed that Angelino, and then that Zinkovic is a better left back. Really, their squad's just too good. They will win the league again, but the only team what could probably stop them is Liverpool. So that's it for my Premier League table. I understand that a lot of you are probably going to disagree with me, but hey ho, just tell me who you think's where everyone's gonna finish in the comments below. Who you think's gonna get relegated, Champions League, Europa League, and even win the title? I'd love to know. Just put all 20 teams down in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.